Okay, going to be doing a recap today on ES and NQ. I ended up taking no trades today. Didn't really see any setup, so I'm going to go over why. So we'll start out with the news today. Didn't really have anything. It really wasn't no news Monday. I guess unless Trump speaks, but it's not even giving us a time, so it's whenever. But this wasn't even here earlier. Anyways, we had Cleveland Fed inflation expectations. Really didn't do anything today, obviously. So we're gonna go over this. So on the hourly time frame on ES, we didn't have too much draws of liquidity to the upside. As you can see, London session was just ripping up. We did have this internal draw of liquidity within New York session from Monday, but really didn't give us anything to work off of. So it was a little awkward day. Didn't really have too many key levels that we were near. The ones I was keeping my eye on the most were London session lows right here and Asia session lows right here. So these were the two that I was primarily looking at, along with this really nice high time frame bullish order block right here, which is really all I was looking at today, and we didn't quite reach that during New York session. So really this whole day was more or less pretty choppy. As you can see on the hourly, it doesn't look very good. The same thing with NASDAQ. Now NASDAQ did get to these highs, obviously significantly sooner than I actually expected today, but NASDAQ was literally the same presentation, but NASDAQ was significantly farther away from these lows. So we did have this internal low on London session, but that wasn't even really a concern for me. The low technically would be here. So we see on NASDAQ that we just continued to push up, really. NASDAQ, we swept out this internal high during Asia session, so it really wasn't a concern, but NASDAQ had potential. We did have this pretty nice high time frame bearish order block right here. You can mark this however you want, but we did have London session low, this internal low, London session low, and then Asia session low located right here. So could have been a pretty good setup. Coulda, woulda, shoulda, right? Not really the best. And then if we drop down to the 5 minute, we see a lot of the same thing here, especially during the morning session. We did kind of get this rip up during the macro, but there really was no confluences to go off of on either of these indexes, especially on ES, which is what I was keeping my eye on. I did notice that we were approaching this fairly quick, right? We were getting near the macro, so I was thinking, hey, if we sweep this out, I'm so down to go for longs. We never even touched it into the order block, really. We just continued to move up. We did have this initial move down. If this was, $10 lower, would have had a nice inverse fair value gap and a really strong move up on the smaller time frames. It would have looked pretty clean, but again, we just had nothing. It's one of those days, pretty choppy on the 5 minute, I would have to say, with this just moving up and down, not really having one continuous, really like a continuous move, right? We just continue to chop pretty much this whole session, which it's going to happen. You're going to have shitty price action days. Might have something to do with the news later this week. We have Powell speaking on Tuesday, tomorrow morning at 10. So there's gonna be no trading for me. Could be a little bit more impactful than usual because they had Fed funds rates a couple last week or 2 weeks ago, I believe, and they delayed the rates or whatever. He didn't change them, so actually it didn't do anything in the market. So we can look on the hourly time frame. The last time he did, though, did not look pretty. I believe it kind of sticks out like a sore thumb when he did it. Yeah, this was the last time. We see this was pretty bad. The last time he brought out new interest rates, this is what happened in the market. So sticks out like a sore thumb when it happens. But again, today, just not good price action in my opinion. We continue to move up. I mean, I do know TJR is talking a lot about order flow and, once we get this break of structure to the upside on the 5 minute, but it's like, I don't like going based off of order flow. I have my setup and I have my trading strategy that I like to use, and it seems to work. So today was just kind of a scratch. Nothing really happening today. Today was probably my best bet to take a trade because we have CPI and PPI on Wednesday and Thursday, which the issue with that is it just wipes out liquidity. So we'll have such a drastic move at 8:30 when news data comes out that it wipes all the liquidity, right? It wipes out all my key levels, London session high, New York session high, right? It just wipes them. So there's nothing to make a play off of. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it does. I don't know. We'll see. Obviously, I'm very open to trading, but, with it being CPI and PPI, I'm typically a little less lenient on being unwilling to trade that day, right? So it's a little not as, for me to commit to trying to take a trade in that day. So today was more or less a scrap, like I said, high time frame. in theory, it looked pretty good. Obviously, we have all these liquidity that could have gotten swept, and then again, we just didn't. So, we're forming these new highs, but it's just not the best price action so far. Could set up for a nice seek and destroy day tomorrow with all these. We have New York low, we have London low, and then Asia low right here. So, could chop up here a little bit and then get a really aggressive move down and move up tomorrow. So, but we'll see. But that's it for today. No trades. That's going to probably be a fairly common theme this week with just how much news there is.